Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakadash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostle, Great Millstone, and enough respect to the brothers out there pushing and spreading the gospel of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahshai to the four corners of the world. Now, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahshai, I wanted to do a quick lesson, right? Hopefully it's quick on Esau, Edom, okay? Based on this video, and I'm like too late, but it still doesn't hurt to make it. But it's a video that Apostle Tahar made 4 days ago, and the the one body, okay, they dropped the name Yahweh Shai, but they're really reaching and saying that Esau, the white man, is not Esau Edom, and that they challenge people to go through the scriptures and show them Bible where it says Esau Edom is the white man. All right. So now obviously there is the term white man it's a very recent term which you're not going to find in the Bible. Just like how America is a recent term that you're not going to find in the Bible. These are words that they didn't use back then, so you're obviously not going to find it. But we are going to find who the Grecians are, who the Romans are. We're going to track them from Esau, okay, and then we're going to make a comparison between. We're going to make a correlation between the Romans and the Grecians, right, based on Roman historians and Grecian historians, and then pretty much everything should just click from then on. So and then you know who's who. Okay, so we're going to begin with Genesis chapter 25. Starting from verse 25, it says, matter of fact, Genesis chapter 25, verse 23, this is concerning Rebekah, Isaac's wife. It says, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. Okay? It says, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her wombs. And the first, the elder, came out red, all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. All right. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. All right. So Esau, let's find out when his name was changed to Edom. What am I doing? This is Genesis chapter 25, verse 30. It says, and Esau said unto Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint, and therefore his name was called Edom. All right. So now we're going to track the genealogy of Esau or Edom, So it says, now these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons, Eliphaz, the son of Adah, the wife of Esau, and Ruel, the son of Bashmath, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz was Taman, Omar, Zepho, and Gotham, and Kenaz. And Timah was concubine of Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Esau Amalek, all right, the grandson of Esau Edom. These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. Now we jump forward to 1 Samuel, 15th chapter, verse 8. It says, let's start from verse 1. 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 1 says, and Samuel said unto Saul, the Lord Yahweh sent me to appoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the word of the Lord Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. And this is pretty much a reference to our journey in the wilderness. The first nations to come against Esau Edom to try to destroy us was, of course, Amalek. All right. And so it says, and so from that point on, the Most High said that he was going to avenge Esau. He was going to avenge um, Israel, right, on Amalek. It says now, and this is the moment in which that vow is manifested. So continue in verse 3, it says, now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but lay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. And Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Telaim, 200,000 footmen and 10,000 footmen of Judah. And Saul came to a city of Amalek and laid waste in the valley. And Saul said unto the Kenites, go, depart, get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For ye showed kindness to all the children of Israel when they camped up out of Egypt. So the Kenites departed from amongst the Amalekites. And Saul smote the Amalekites. And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until thou comest to Shur, that is over against Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. Now we're going to get into the word Agag. Okay, it says, but Saul and the people spared Agag and the best of the sheep and of the oxen and of the fatling and of the lamb and of all things that were good, so on and so forth. All right. So we get to the name Agag. And when you go into the dictionary for Agag, it tells you that it's not just a name, but it's actually a title. So it says flame. It says the usual title. Let me see if I can make it. It says it is the usual title of the Amalekites, kings, just as Pharaoh is to the Egyptians, right? A king of the Amalekites referred by Balaam, because you come across that same name, Agag, in Numbers 24th chapter. Now, it's not the same Agag that's lived for that long, but it's a title for the Amalekites. And it's not just a title of the Amalekites. And if you search further on, you'll find out it's also a name of the royal families, okay? Which is why when you go into the book of when you go into the book of Esther, it tells us that there was a man who was an Agagite. All right. So it says, this is the book of Esther, chapter 3, verse 1. It says, after these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite. So Haman, who's a son of this man, he's an Agagite, which tells you that there is a whole nation of people, right? Or from that point on, there were people who were referred to as Agagite, all right, which were in other words Amaleks, which were in other words Edomites, which were in other words Esau Edom, right? Which in other words is Esau, descendants of Esau. So it says that after these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. You go to jump to chapter 8. It doesn't just call the father of Haman Agagite, but it calls Haman himself an Agagite. It's very also interesting. And yep, we went into that. I'm going to cross that out. Now, the interesting thing about the book of Esther is that when you read just the Hebrew version, it calls Haman the Agagite. But when you continue on the book of Esther in the Apocrypha, which was written in Greek, which was the whole book of Esther plus the Septuagint version, in other words, the Grecian version, it refers to Haman as a Macedonian. All right. So like, yeah. Let me see if I'm sharing my screen. All right, cool. I want to make this very short. So it refers to him as a Macedonian. Right, verse 10. Now, if you go into, we're in chapter 16. Let me see if I can have the hard copy of the Apocrypha with you, and you go into read chapter 16. There's a very something written on top of it right there, which says that this is placed in the Greek, right after chapter 8, verse 12 in the Hebrew. So if you go, so that's what I'm saying. That's why we say that the Apocrypha is a very important source of information. There are certain things in here that they don't want you to know, but if you are really serious about it, it's going to uncover a lot of secrets. That's why it's actually called Apocrypha. In other words, hidden. All right. So it tells you that chapter 16 is placed in the Greek version right after chapter 8, verse 12. All right. So you're going to the book of Esther. The book of Esther, chapter 8, verse 12. So this is the point where uh, the king of Persia allowed the Israelites to like to protect themselves, right, to defend themselves when the other nations come in to to put them to death. Right? I'm not going to get into the whole story. Brothers can read it for themselves. All right, because this is not what the video is about. So it says if you read the Apocrypha right by itself from chapter 16, it may not make sense, but if you read the Hebrew version, chapter 8, verse 11, 12, and then right after you jump into the Apocrypha, it's going to make sense from then on. All right. So let me just make sure I'm sharing my screen. So if you go into the book of Esther, chapter 16, right here, verse 10, it says, "For Amen," which is another name for Haman, a Macedonian, the son of Amadatha, right? The same thing that's written off in the book of Esther. Okay, Haman, the son of Hamad, Hamadatha, same thing. Okay, same difference. Okay, so he's a Macedonian. In other words, a Macedonian is an Agagite. An Agagite is an Amalekite. An Amalekite is an Edomite or is a descendant of Esau. Okay, so far Macedonians, but who are the Macedonians? This is First Maccabees chapter 1, starting from verse 1. It says, "And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim, had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians and the Medes, that he reigned in his stead and set over Greece." Okay, so the Grecians are Macedonians. The Macedonians are Edomites. All right. So now let's jump into the transition, of the Amalekites to Romans. All right, because right then and there, that's when you're gonna have to do a little bit of research. It's very obvious, but you're gonna have some people that are trying to be demons or they're trying to be smart. And oh well, there are different empires, different people, different languages. It's all bullshit. They're the same people. All right. So the history of Rome begins with two brothers called Romulus and Remus, and this is sometimes why you will see this image here associated with the Roman Empire. Okay, so it begins with two brothers called Romulus and Remus, and of course, when it comes to the story and as to how they founded Rome, there are some mythologies going on. It'll tell you that Romulus and Remus were descendants where their father was the god of war, Mars, which obviously he's born of a man. Okay, and Mars ain't a fucking god; it doesn't exist. Right, the only true God is Yahweh. The only true, one we worship are the God of Israel. All right, is the God of Israel. This is Romulus and Remus. Their mother was Sylvia, was a Vestal virgin, the daughter of a former king, who had been displaced by his brother Amulus in some sources. Right, it says their father was the god of Mars. All right, so keep continuing on. Let's bear with me for a second. I'm looking for the part where a lot of people, the Grecians and the Romans, they draw a comparison between Romulus and Remus, with Troy. Okay. Um, right. So Romulus, it says Remus was taken prisoner and brought to Alba Longa, born to his grandfather. Yada yada yada. Romulus, meanwhile, organized an effort to free his brother and set out with help for the city. Um, keep continuing. This is the origins of the different elements of Rome's foundations myth are a subject of ongoing debate. They may have come from Rome's own Italic origin or from Hellenic influence, right, that were included later. It's not the point I'm looking for. It's, what did I just do? It's just Roman historians dated. It's like there was a lot of information, but I'm trying to get the actual important stuff. Okay. Okay, right. So before the Romulus and Remus got into the peninsula of Italy, they were there were a group of indigenous people, right? They are believed to be Indo-Europeans, or not Indo-Europeans, Slovakia. They are believed to be Hamites, okay, which the term Ty, Ty, no, Typhonians and Lydia, okay. So yeah. So those were the people that used to live in Italy before, Rome was established. And oh, what the hell is going on, man? I can't find this. That's why there's such a thing as the Roman Etruscan War, which is pretty much at a certain point they couldn't live together, and the Romans fought against them, and did away with them, and so on and so forth. Oh, there it is, the Roman Etruscan War. But I wanted to get the okay. It's taking longer than I expected. I just need a few minutes to just sort everything out. Um, right, there's no material evidence, and they doubt that a single person can found the city, which is it's really not. All right, there's if you watch a video, the channel I can't play right now because of copyright reasons, but there's a channel called Oversimplified, and it's this guy who's a really good historian, and he breaks things down into digestible bites, and it's like really oversimplified to where you understand it. But if you go into the first Punic Wars, he brings up the Romulus and Remus, and he talks about how when they set it up, they I think they kidnapped a bunch of women, and then just like how it was in the with the Benjamites when they were trying to regrow their population, and then that's when they started. They raped them, and that's when they started the city. And that's pretty. It's not very difficult for historians to understand how someone can found a city. It's not. But there's a point where it says they were. Let me see. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna find it. Just give me a second. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh my God, man. Did all this running off for nothing. It says in Greco-Roman mythology, Aeneas is a Trojan prince and a legendary founder of the Romans. He is a son of Anchises, a member of the Trojan royal family, and the goddess, oh my God, and the goddess of Aphrodite, Venus. Aeneas was one of the few Trojan heroes who escaped, right, the siege of Troy. Afterwards, Aeneas embarked on a 7-year journey, most famously recounted in the Aeneid by the Roman poet Virgil. All right, it says after coming into contact with the ancient Greeks, the Romans were aware that they lacked the legendary epic tradition that the ancient Greeks had. The Greek literature featured Homer's Iliad and the Odyssey, and Greek mythology had heroes like Achilles and Hercules, and the Romans only had Romulus and Remus, who they knew could not measure up to the fearless Greek heroes. The Romans created a link between their history and the famous Trojan War by associating a hero from the war with Romulus. They chose a hero whose fate was unknown, Aeneas, a prince of Troy. Around 500 BCE, it became a standard narrative that Aeneas was able to escape the burning of Troy and made his way to Italy, where he established the Roman people. So Romulus and Remus, they say they are descendants of Trojan War, and this is something they keep saying it's a myth, which of course, obviously it's a myth, but these are people who are saying that they are the same people as the Grecians. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Like, so there isn't any difference between the Romans and the Grecians. That's why there's such a thing known as um, the Greco-Roman Empire. They share the same language. They were share the same culture. Okay, they share the same pantheons. They just call them by different names. It's the same difference. It's just Esau again, just playing around, jumping from name to name, trying to hide themselves. Um, but there was a specific point that I wanted to bring out where it was yeah, man, this is disappointing. But I hope I get the point across. I really so now that there's a distinction between the Grecian, I mean the Romans and the descendant of Troy. It's now it's time to determine are the Trojans really Grecians? And the question to that to me is yes, because based on the stories that are written about Troy and Greece, they spoke the same language. They had the same culture. Okay, they sacrificed to the same gods. The prince who supposedly stole Helen and brought her to Troy, it's all because of some fucking thing between what's it called, Zeus and Aphrodite and Hera, all the same madness. Okay, they were the same people. They just happened to live on a different in a different location, and this isn't very difficult to understand if you simply think about Europe and America. Okay, it's like thinking about the colonies in America and thinking about Britain. It's the same thing. It's nothing different. It's not so difficult for you to understand these things. All right. So see. right? The story of Troy's origin began with a man named Tusa. He would have lived around 2 centuries before the Trojan War. In the Aeneid, the Roman writer Virgil tells us that Tusa was an origin from Crete. By this point, some 2 centuries before the Trojan War, Crete was a Greek island, right? Previously Minoan civilization. Just as the Greek historian Dionysius of Halicarnassus presents a slightly different versions in which Tusa came from Attica in Greece. In either case, Tusa was definitely Greek, all right, whether from Greece itself or from Crete. Um, Let me see. There's a quote by one of the Grecian historians, which um, the Trojan War was one of the most famous events in Greek mythology. It was a mighty 10-year war between Greeks and the Trojans. But what many people don't know is that Troy itself is actually Greek, at least according to what the mythology tells us. But I wanted the exact quote. Why am I missing it? Let me see if I can find it on my phone. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to ask brothers to forgive me for this one. I'm all over the place. All right, whatever, man. It's I'm gonna have to like come back and make this proper. All right, I got a little bit of information that the Romans made a connection between the Trojans and how there's and also brought out a little bit of information as to why there's a comparison between Troy and Greece. All right, now this is very interesting. It says in the time of the empire, Roman empress grandly embellished what was then the small town of Troy as the mother city of Rome. I don't know where this quote is from. I try to find it, but it keeps the PDF that I'm trying to access won't allow me um, to to view it unless I buy some stuff, which I'm not trying to do all that. Um, it says that Rome paraded its conquest of Greece as a revenge for the burning of Troy, adopting the Trojan Aeneas as one of the founders of Rome. In the time of the empire, Roman emperor grandly embellished what was then the small town of Troy as the mother city of Rome. And even in medieval Britain and in far distant Iceland, we find wandering Trojan princes claimed by writers as the founders of their nations, in an attempt to understand the um, present through a remote, alien yet impossibly glorious past. Yeah, this is it's the information is all over the place because that's what history is. There's no, it's not like anybody had a camera back then, back in that days. So all we have is a little bit of information like this, and you just have to be, um, smart enough to, connect the pieces and know the things that are real and the things that are not real. But yeah, this it's not difficult to track Esau Edom's lineage. If you want to be technical with it. We know it by his spirit, as the scriptures describe it, and by signs, right? As the scriptures describe, the scripture talks about the end of Babylon, and then it talks about the end of Edom in the same manner. So you know that whoever is so you know that whoever is the ruler, okay, whoever is ruling in the time of Babylon is the same people that's ruling for the Edomites. All right. And that's why the scripture also tells us that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay. So scriptures like this, we don't like, can't believe, Jake's out here, man. You're going to have to, Jake's out here for you to have to do all this crazy shit, crazy runarounds for them to believe the scriptures. Okay. Whereas you don't need to do all these things. But, it's done anyway. I again want to apologize. I thought I had everything ready, but doing the video, there's kind of a lot of pressure. Brothers may not notice, but trying to find all the right information, within a span of a time. But I hopefully I did all the best that I could, and hopefully this was very edifying. So with that, I'm gonna end it right there and say shalom to all the brothers and sisters that are watching in truth and sincerity. Yahweh Bashim Yashab Rakatham. And may the blessing of blessing be upon the house, and may we continue, to pray for the downfall of Esau Edom and bring curses upon this fucking devil, man. So it's the only way we're gonna be on top. It's the only way we're gonna have a kingdom established. So the sooner he goes down, the sooner things go great for us. So with that, I'm gonna interrupt. Shalom. Yahweh Bashim Rakatham.